Hello and welcome. I'm Jesus Hernandez. This is the Vets Biz Journey, where we honor our veterans and celebrate their achievements. In this edition, we celebrate the journey of Ray Muldoon, a World War II veteran. He's 96 years old. We'll take a look at the remarkable creations of a Navy veteran who likes to bend and shape steel. A Vietnam veteran at the Valor Christian Center tells us how a spiritual connection helped him overcome some hardships in life. With a brush and a paint, veteran David Murrieta is helping others rediscover the beauty of their Hispanic culture and traditions. And we'll close with some words of encouragement from our veterans. Those stories and more on this edition of the Veterans Business Journey, where we celebrate the achievements of our veterans. The Veterans Business Journey is made possible in part by the American Legion Department of Arizona, veterans serving our communities. This is the Veterans Business Journey. I'm Jesus Hernandez. Statistically, only 2% of the 16 million World War II veterans are alive today. With the passage of each veteran, the sights, sounds, and triumphs of that historical period disappear. Ray Muldoon was there during the Battle of the Bulge.
The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely.
For 96-year-old Army veteran Ray Muldoon, the words of General Dwight D. Eisenhower and the images of World War II symbolize a powerful moment in his life. He was there during the Battle of the Bulge, where he witnessed the bravery, the sacrifices, and the hardships of the soldiers of the 75th Infantry Division.
The memory of a cold experience, lots of snow, lots of people getting hurt, a lot of confusion, a lot of attacks, counterattacks, artillery. It's just, the war. That's what the war is.
The Battle of the Bulge took place December 16, 1944 to January 25, 1945. There were an estimated 75,000 American casualties and some 100,000 German casualties.
Casualties were high, sick, frozen, frostbitten feet, wounded, a lot of wounds from artillery. Companies went in at a strength of roughly 150 men. After a few weeks, the company that I ultimately got transferred to had 30 men. The 75th was sent to Europe in October of 44. D-Day was June. They made good progress across Europe. They anticipated that the war would be over in a few months.
Ray Muldoon was born and raised in Kansas and graduated from Kansas State College. Currently, Muldoon is a resident at the Beatitudes campus in Phoenix. He writes and edits a newsletter. At the 75th Infantry Division Veterans Association's reunion, the Consul General of France presented Muldoon with the French Legion of Honor Medal. Muldoon joined a fraternity of nearly 10,000 Americans who have received the medal for extraordinary contributions to France.
Well, they gave it specifically to those who helped France by fighting on French soil. Now, that was exactly the situation we were in.
Ray Muldoon is one of the 16 million Americans who served during the Second World War. The Veterans Administration reports that there are an estimated 620,000 of those veterans alive today. With the passage of each veteran, the sights, sounds, and triumphs of that historical moment disappear.
I'm Ray Muldoon. I'm a veteran of World War II. I'm proud to have served. I'm now 96, and I have very few veteran friends.
From the American Legion Department of Arizona Notebook, here's some news. It's been 75 years since the GI Bill was signed into law. At the end of this month, in Florence, Arizona, there will be a celebration honoring those individuals who played an important role of creation of the GI Bill. A celebrated historical moment, the signing of the Servicemen's Readjustment Act of 1944, the GI Bill. Historians have long considered the GI Bill a congressional landmark that helped transform the lives of millions of veterans and the nation.
I went to school, they sent me to school, dry cleaning school, tailor, and I got, my whole future was paid many times fold.
The people back in the 40s who actually put this idea together, they obviously had some foresight that this was going to become a giant need with veterans over the years.
It's an opportunity to reintegrate into civilian life, to continue to make a difference in the community and in the land that we love through education.
I believe Ernest McFarland was the father of the modern day GI Bill. The impact that it had on America was phenomenal.
McFarland was a proud Navy veteran. He never made it to the battlefield. His battles were fought in Washington, D.C. As a U.S. Senator and Senate Majority Leader, he sponsored over 40 bills to help World War II veterans. His effort earned him the distinction as the father of the GI Bill. Veteran David Murrieta uses a brush and paint to help others rekindle their cultural spirits. The creative arts have provided Marine veteran David Murrieta with a unique perspective about life that's been a source of empowerment. His journey as an artist has reinforced his love for culture and traditions. David Murrieta has been dabbling in the creative arts since he was a young boy. David has earned a degree from Arizona State University, established himself as a respected muralist, painter, and art teacher in Phoenix. David has been helping others since the 80s to realize their creative potential and how best to embrace their cultural spirit. Murrieta was 23 when he decided to join the Marines. His military journey, he says, was an adventure that made a positive difference in his life. When he enlisted, it was all about helping the family.
Coming from a big family, my father wanted to help out financially going to school, but he really couldn't help me. So what I told him, don't worry about it, I told him. I'll join the service, they'll provide education, money for education. It was a big challenge in my life that I was 23 years old. So I made it through, and it was a good adventure to join.
David Murrieta's journey as a Marine includes months of active duty in Saudi Arabia. He says it provided him a new perspective on life and the benefits of living in the United States.
During that time, in 1991, with Desert Storm going on, in December we went to our unit. We went to Saudi Arabia, and we were a support unit for combat engineers. And I was there for 6 months in Saudi Arabia.
Murrieta says he didn't have many issues transitioning back into civilian life after his Desert Storm tour. But now that he's older, he admits he has experienced his effects associated with PTSD.
I was so busy with school that I didn't have a hard time adjusting. But as I got older, I would remember my friends during the war, and up to this day, I get more memories from the war, and they come and go all the time. And
PTSD?
PTSD, there you go. I have PTSD, I have PTSD, and so the way I deal with the PTSD is I'm painting, and it helps me very, very much. I'm painting, I paint murals, I'm also an art teacher, so that takes away my mind from from the PTSD, and it helps me to therapy, like to relax, and that's what it does.
David sees painting as a wonderful form of therapy that relieves stress, worries, and fears. For veterans, he feels it's ideal for helping them cope with PTSD. This session with David Murrieta at the Chico Gallery was made possible by the AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection. The organization has made it possible for Murrieta to create a number of murals reflecting Arizona Hispanic culture and traditions. They see the value of supporting veterans and their professional journeys.
This year, we wanted to do painting events because we understand that this is very helpful for veterans to kind of spend some time drawing and kind of, moving away from their daily routines and enjoying some time together and feel supported. Well, I love to be around people, and veterans are a special kind of people. And their stories and their sense of service to the country and to each other is just great. It just makes me feel awesome just to be among them and listen to their stories. And personally, I feel very, very privileged to get to spend time with veterans.
For David Murrieta, serving his country as a Marine has provided him with a clear understanding of the benefits of being an American veteran.
As a veteran, I feel very proud that I served. It was a great feeling, and I would do it all over again. That's another thing. I would do it all over again if I had to. It's serving your country, and this country's worth serving and protecting, so I get very emotional, especially during Veterans Day parades.
We'll be right back with more on the Vets Biz Journey as we continue to celebrate the achievements of our veterans. The Veterans Business Journey is made possible in part by the American Legion Department of Arizona, veterans serving our communities. Welcome back. This is the Veterans Business Journey. I'm Jesus Hernandez. If you're a veteran and would like to tell us about your journey, drop us a note at vetsbizjourney@gmail.com. Our next story is about a Navy veteran who has a magical touch for creating some fantastic pieces out of steel. When the sparks start flying in this garage, it means Navy veteran Kevin Carone is in the process of twisting and shaping a piece of iron or aluminum into a beautiful piece of art. Kevin is a sculptor in Phoenix.
All the metals I work with definitely have a life. They don't know it yet. That's my job, is to teach them to stand up, to teach them to be beautiful, to teach them to be mystical. But yeah, all metal has life, and I just help it. I just help it grow.
While most of us see this as a collection of scraps, Kevin sees a garden of creative possibilities. Kevin Carone is a sculptor who works mostly in fabricated steel. His creations have garnered him a number of awards. He was selected as the Visual Artist of the Year in Phoenix and won the 17th Annual Best of the West Arts and Culture Award.
Every piece that I create is one of my children. I put a certain amount of heart and soul into every piece that I make. They're all created from me. They're all created from inside. So it's fun to watch them be born. It's fun to enjoy them for a little while. It's also fun to watch them go off and, go do other things, go live in somebody else's world.
Kevin says it was the advice of his mentor that inspired him to embrace the idea of creating sculptures from steel.
He liked to make bugs, caterpillars and centipedes and all kinds of little bugs. And I was looking at one of his pieces one day, and it had this beautiful sculpted, tapered, flat, just perfectly formed leg. And he put his beard down and he looked at me and he said, "They're concrete nails. Don't look at things for what they are. Look at them for what they could be."
Kevin says his interest to enlist in the Navy was the results of stories he heard and a bet.
My stepfather, who was retired Navy, I get to hear his stories over and over and over again. And at one point I looked at my boss and I said, "You know what? I got half a mind to go down and join the Navy, so I'll have war stories too." And he pulled out his wallet, he pulled out a $50 bill and he laid it on the counter and he said, "I dare you." It was one of the happiest, proudest moments of my life to stand there on that grinder and hold my hand over my heart and say, "I do." And it was a lot of fun. It was a great place to learn. It was a great place to grow up. And I've become a much, much better person for it. So I am a proud veteran.
This proud veteran says the skills he utilizes to create his works of art are the skills he learned while in the Navy.
I was a ground support equipment technician. So all of the equipment that the A&E guys, the power plant guys would use to work on the aircraft, the tow tractors, the power units, the tow bars, hydraulic test stands, all of that stuff. That's what I worked on. So basically I was like a glorified mechanic, but they also taught me how to work with small jet engines because some of the power units had these little baby jet engines in them.
The creative mind of Navy veteran Kevin Carone has produced some extraordinary private and public works. He has shaped, twisted, and designed more than 50 pieces of art, and his creations are on display across the United States and Arizona.
My words of encouragement would have to be to never keep your imagination on that little leash in the back of your head. Let your imagination off the leash. Let it run through the grassy fields of your mind. Create, compose. Whatever your passion is, be passionate about it. Get out there and chase it.
So how much does this piece weigh, Kevin?
It should weigh right around 1,000 pounds. Last time I weighed it, it was just over 700, and I still had about a third of the skin left to put on. So somewhere between 900 and 1,000 pounds.
Here's some more news from the American Legion Department of Arizona. Recently, the commander and others went to Washington, D.C. to meet with congressional leaders to promote legislation that might benefit its membership. The American Legion is celebrating its 100th anniversary. Our next story is about a veteran at the Valor Christian Center in Gilbert who says a spiritual connection helped him overcome many hardships in his life. Dr. Thor Strandhold walks through the halls of the Valor Christian Center in Gilbert, Arizona with a sense of pride and accomplishment. His journey as a child and adult has been marked by hardships most would have found difficult to understand or overcome. But this honorable Navy veteran discovered his inner soul and spiritual direction that transformed his life.
Well, I can say this, Jesus, that had it not been for God in my life, I wouldn't be where I am today. And as a child, up until the age of 17, I was raised in 7 different homes. Now, right away, people would say, well, here's a kid that has no roots in his life, doesn't know where he's going to go. But God had his hand on my life. And at the age of 17, I dropped out of high school. I joined the U.S. Navy, went through basic training at Great Lakes. And at the end of my basic training, they put me on a ship in California and sent me right straight to Vietnam. And through it all, God has had his hand on my life. And I went from a high school dropout to a Vietnam veteran to an alcoholic, no success in life at all. But then I met a man that showed me that I could have success in my life.
During his 4 years in the Navy, Stranghold served on the USS Galveston CLJ-3, a guided missile cruiser.
We had a 1,200-man crew. It was actually the flagship for the fleet. We had the admiral on board. So, and I served as in my battle station as in the 5-inch mounts, projectile men for the 5-inch gun mounts. So we would actually shoot inshore and drive the enemy out on the beach, and then we would shoot them on the beach.
Strandhold, the associate pastor at the Valor Christian Center in Gilbert, says the Navy made it possible for him to gain the skills and self-confidence he needed to successfully re-enter civilian life after Vietnam.
The military taught me how to be a man, how to grow up, how to respect authority, how to be submissive to those in charge. And I learned that, and it was a good lesson for me. Had I not done that, you know, at 17, dropping out of high school, going right into the military, I could have been in real trouble by now. But, and fortunately, while I was in the Navy, I took the GED test and passed, got my high school diploma. And as a result of that, it encouraged me to go on to higher education. Us Vietnam veterans, when we came back from Vietnam, did not get a rising welcome when we came home. And so there was no fanfare, no parades or anything like that when we came home. We had to fend for ourselves and make a way, try to make a way for ourselves.
The Navy's training, Pastor Stranghold believes, provided him the skills and determination that have helped him throughout his life and professional career as a doctor of chiropractic medicine. But his journey as a young man, he says, was difficult at times, and he felt something was missing.
So here I was, getting ready to graduate from college, getting ready to go out in the world. And I think God said to himself, I got to get this guy before he graduates and gets out there. And so, because I grew up in a religious atmosphere, I didn't know what having a personal relationship with the Lord was all about. And the day I said, Jesus, come into my heart, be the Lord of my life, was the day my life took a turnaround. I mean, you're talking about a guy who was a high school dropout, who was an alcoholic, who was a divorcee, a Vietnam veteran, going nowhere in life. But the day I said, Jesus, come into my heart, my whole life took a turnaround. I found out that God cares about me. I found out that He cares about my success in life.
You deserve the glory and the honor. Lord, we lift our hands in worship.
Dr. Thor Strandhold became an ordained minister in 1997. He then made the transition from taking care of the physical needs of patients to taking care of their spiritual needs. In 2013, Strandhold moved to Arizona, retired, and began to wonder what to do next in life. He says he turned to the man above for direction.
God says you're not going to retire, you're going to refire. And because of that, I became the associate pastor right here at Valor Christian Center, right here in Gilbert, Arizona. And it has been a fantastic, fabulous journey ever since.
At the Valor Christian Center in Gilbert, they take pride in honoring veterans, and through the church's annual classic car show, money is raised to help Soldiers' Best Friend. The nonprofit organization has been transforming the lives of combat war veterans suffering with PTSD by pairing them with trained dogs.
When I was searching around for a church to go to here in the Valley, I found out that this church supports veterans and veterans' concerns.
The reason I served was I was an only child, but I wanted to serve my country and serve with my brothers in arms and sisters in arms.
But I think the reason that one joins is that they have some innate thing, innate internal force that tells them that freedom is not free.
I think people need to take a second thought when it comes to our veterans, because, hey, we as veterans have put our lives on the line for our country. I'm Dr. Thor Strandhold. I am a veteran. I served from 1964 to 1968 in the U.S. Navy. I'm a Vietnam veteran as well, and I am so proud of the fact that I am a veteran, and I'm proud of my veteran friends out there.
We'll be back in a moment with some words of encouragement on the Veterans Business Journey. The Veterans Business Journey is made possible in part by the American Legion Department of Arizona, veterans serving our communities.
How does that look? To put it on your shirt, huh? You earned it. You sure did.
Sure did. Wounded Warrior Project has been a huge part of my family's life for 10 years. When you are a soldier, you are part of a unit, and everyone helps and defends each other. We live in a beautiful world. We should take care of each other. Thank you, Wounded Warrior Project, for everything you do for my brothers and sisters.
Welcome back. This is the Veterans Business Journey. The journey and challenges experienced by some veterans can help us gain some insight as how to deal with some issues in our lives. That's when some words of encouragement can help.
My words of encouragement for you is to know that God has a plan for your life, and He has great expectations for your life as well. He says that if you trust in me, I'll open doors that no man can open, and I'll shut doors that no man can shut. So just be encouraged this day to know that God has a plan for your life.
My words of encouragement to you is to get involved with the community. Veterans are respected, and many times people don't know who we are. But getting involved for me has been very beneficial. I have worked with different parts of the community that I never would have worked before because they do accept and they wanted to have veterans there. So get involved. We're important and we have something to say.
That's our show. I'm Jesus Hernandez. This is the Veterans Business Journey. Our mission is to honor our veterans and celebrate their achievements. To all those veterans who shared their stories, thank you. Gracias. Until next time, never be less than your dreams.